College sports is a big business, a multi-billion-dollar business. So how do high school athletes get noticed by college coaches? At Athletic Scholarship Corporation, we provide nationwide recruiting services and get scholarship offers for our clients.
All right, working here on a Sunday, Anthony, over at the Athletic Scholarship Corporation, a podcast sponsored by athleticscholarshipcorp.com. Got Coach Newman here. So it's still a young man. My daughter's about 2 years younger than you. I'm getting old, man. Actually, this morning, I was thinking about your dad as I was listening to Big Daddy Kane. You know anything about that? Big Daddy
Oh
Kane?
man, yeah, I know a little bit, but that's definitely his line of music right there.
Yeah, same as me here. So I hope everybody's doing good. Your dad's great people. We met in a weird way. I opened up shops, body shops and repair shops during COVID, and we're
Yeah.
still open. My passion in marketing, representing athletes, getting them into college and working through the pro level. Now with the name, image, likeness, it's a totally different game. And we'll touch base on that in a minute. So you're from Philly.
Mhm.
Parents shipped you out. That's what I call it, shipping you out. Went to the private school.
Yeah.
Been hooping all your life, and now you're Bucknell, Albany. Entered the draft, right?
Yes.
Try to work it out.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick. I mean, I know you from a perspective of, you brought your car, you had an accident, all that fun stuff, and we kind of connected. But you had a plan. It's been hatched since you were young, and you're coaching now. Could you kind of talk about that experience and how you had to shift or pivot?
Yeah. So I did 4 years at Bucknell, played all 4 years. But my chance didn't really come until my sophomore year. And one of our teammates got hurt, and like it was the next up player role. So um I had stepped up big time and, was able to do some things where when we had that COVID year, I got recognized by a couple of college coaches, and luckily one of my high school coaches was coaching at Albany. He got the job because I guess Albany went through like a firing head coach phase, and the next head coach got to be able to bring in whoever he wanted, and I had a little relationship with them, so I decided to go to Albany. Um, and I got to Albany, and my cousin was playing with them at the time, so I kind of knew somebody already on his team, so it was easier to adjust and everything. But yeah, when I got there, I didn't really know his plans. Like it was his first year being a head coach and everything, so we was kind of like going with the flow and like trying to work out things on the fly.
Mhm.
But sadly the season didn't go as planned, and we lost in the first round. I was devastated. But yeah, after that, after the season, I decided to I wanted to play professionally, either overseas or go to the draft. But during the season, like the last couple of games I had got hurt and needed surgery on my knee. So I had got surgery and I didn't know if I was going to be healthy in time to, be ready for the draft or be ready for, the upcoming workouts and everything. So I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a year off, try to, get fully recovered and be able to go overseas. But I had my coach from Albany invited me to work his basketball camp over the summer. And I get there, all my teammates, my old teammates is there. He's just, having a good time coaching the kids and everything. And he actually talked to me like right before the camp started and was like, hey, like, what are you doing next year? Like, you have any plans? Like, have you thought about if you're going to push for a draft workout or, get back out there? And I was like, right now, like my recovery is not really doing too well. So it wasn't moving as rapid as I thought it would. So he was like, hey, I got this coaching gig for you. And I was like, I mean, I want to do coaching, but I still want to play. Like I still want to hoop. And he was like, hey, like I understand that, but this gig, you know, just look at it, think about it, talk it over. So me being like, the hooper, I'm like, all right, like I hear you, but I'm still trying to hoop. And then he was like, okay. So we left it alone for a little bit. And then at the end of the camp, he asked me again, it was like, hey, like, if you don't want to take it, like it's still there, it's still on the table for you. And he said it in front of his wife. and his wife was like the team's mom. So like, and me and her had a really good relationship, and she was like, what are you talking about? And he explained her the whole situation. It was like, yeah, like Paul has the opportunity to go be a coach and video coordinator and player development with the Cavaliers. And she looked at me and she was like, you can't turn that down. And when she said that, and I was like, we talked about it a little bit more, I was like, yeah, you're actually right. Like, if I do want to get back to playing, like that would be the best. Like that could be a route to take with the connections over there. And now this is my second year with the Cavs, and I'm glad I made this decision. Like the coaching side of basketball, like this perspective is amazing. Like everything is like real like intricate and like assiduous and like like everything is broken down to like the smallest T. And like just seeing that side is it's crazy to see how much we prepare and how much of a game plan we would go over for like our players. And it was hard. It was hard for sure. Like in the beginning, trying to like, you know, learn a new language and everything because basketball is basically like a ongoing experiment. It's like it's evolving every other year, every day, basically. Like now it went from, you got your point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, power forward centers, and like back then, like it was clear like who was who because based on their skill set.
Mhm.
So now that's my positionless, like you have to, accommodate and account for everyone's like skill. Like at this level, like your five man can be bringing up the ball and running the point guard. So like now like trying to see how pieces fit with certain, certain schemes and how we want them to play and all that stuff. So it's been a great experiment so far, like a great career starter, and I'm glad I chose the coaching side for sure.
Are you still training or have a path to try to go to Europe or overseas? I mean, you're 25, 6'9",
Yeah,
225. You can't teach that. I mean, that's
yeah.
just a tangible. Are you still training or do you still have that burning desire, or are you kind of focused on, hey, I'm gonna, I mean, because you got a personality about you. You're a good person. You're just, I mean, I know one of the skill sets I have in business and been successful in business because you know how to
Mhm.
read people. And
Yeah.
I just knew when I met you, I'm like, this guy's just going to go all the way. I mean, he's young, he's in at the right time. So did you really shift and say, hey, I'm just sticking with this now. This is my plan. Or are you still going to try to go overseas?
So my first year, it was painful a little bit because knowing like when I got to the point where I felt like I was 100% and I was fully recovered, I'm like, maybe I want to give it a shot again because I was literally playing with the team every day, like I'm sharpening their like skills, but I'm sharpening mine as well because going against the best, you're only gonna get better.
Right.
And I've had a couple opportunities here and there, to talk about going overseas or shoot, maybe a shot at the G League, but it was kind of hard to give up what I'm doing now because like the coaching side is definitely um is less stress, I would say, in a sense. It's definitely less stress, but I do still have some dreams here and there about
Right.
playing, but I really want to be a head coach at some point. So to start now and for me to like to hear constantly that that's rare for me for my age to come in and be so young and do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I
But
mean, even getting in at 35, you do 10 years of sweat equity. I mean, you're doing a
yeah,
sweat equity right now, it,
yeah.
and you're building bridges, and you'll get to that point. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, obviously you got to
uh,
learn and work through it. Um, so 25, I've been around celebrities. I'm not really a starstruck person. I've met Jordan, LeBron, all that presidents. And is there anybody that you were growing up and you're like, man, that's just like one of my people that I really love to meet? Or did you run across anybody in this side of the business being coach where you're just like, that's cool, I finally met this person? Do you have anybody that kind of, got
yeah.
you thinking?
Well, honestly, like, like growing up watching basketball all my life and, being so like deeply rooted into it, when I first came up here for my interview and I didn't realize it, but Luke Walton was on the staff. And, like but me being such a basketball junkie, I'm like, wait, like you guys got Luke Walton on the staff, and that just like surprised me. Like okay, like this is the real deal. But Luke Walton was definitely he was definitely a big one. That one of my like favorite coworkers for sure. He's a great basketball mind. You know, been through it a lot. Played with Kobe and Shaq, so it was
Right.
great. It's great to like talk to him, get his side of the winning perspective at least because everybody needs a winner on their team. But I would say Luke for sure. Meaning Reggie Miller was big. Like all the old school like coaches that I've met, or players that was in the NBA like back in the 90s and
Yeah.
thousands and everything was pretty cool to see. But I would definitely say my biggest like not starstruck but like eye opener was LeBron. Like just being able to see him in person, like
Yeah.
the fit, like his actual physical fit, and seeing how like well he is put together in person is actually impressive because he's a big man. He's super skilled and like his IQ is through the roof. And like seeing that firsthand was pretty cool.
I
Sure.
watched him in high school, and I was in awe at that point. Like this
Yeah.
guy does everything. He's a selfless player, and then you see him in the NBA, and you just appreciate they call it the freak of nature, and he really is.
No, yeah, he is.
So I kind of like we were talking before and about Kevin Love, and that's a guy I just thought is really laid back and different, and then he kind of got into the public eye about mental health awareness and all that. I just thought he'd be a cool guy. I wish we kept him. I know the business side of it didn't
Yeah.
allow that to happen. Unfortunately, basketball's business.
Yeah, and that's one thing I learned pretty quick. It's definitely a business because, everybody wants their team to be the best and they'll, get rid of or trade anybody that they think will be a perfect fit somewhere else or that we're getting a perfect piece for us. But Kevin Love was also another one that I forgot to mention. He was a great person to meet too, especially with him being the leader of that mental health stuff because that's big.
Yeah,
Then
it
the,
is.
the mental health piece is big and everything, not just sports, but life itself because, like if you're not clear up here and fully understand what's going on with yourself, you're not gonna be able to put anything else into anything you want to do because you gotta have that clear and be able to really take in everything that's going on around you.
I mean,
So
look back and, I'm 50 and, we all have our issues. We're all human and we
yeah,
go through trials and tribulations and, growing up as a male, it's not strong or cool to ask for help.
yes,
And now,
yes,
people look at it in my age group and they say you're weak and this and that. It's like, no, you need help. And it's strong
yeah,
to open up and say, I need help. And that takes a lot of strength. It's easier to bury it and hide it where you can't have a relationship with anybody. You can't have, the athletic career you want because your mind does drive everything. Your mind and your
yes,
diet are, what you eat and what you do mentally are going to
yeah,
really drive what you do as an athlete. Looking back, and you lived through this. So when I played, I was highly recruited. Guys would get a couple $100 on the side, and that was happening all the time. And then you read about the Reggie Bushes of the world that get an Escalade with a diamond encrusted badge. And so
yeah.
let's look back at your recruiting. I know you went to a premier school, and the game plan, your
hmm
family was to get you recruited heavily. Was it still tough, or how did that go for you, the recruiting process?
So I went to high school with two All-Americans basically,
Yeah.
Tony Carr and Lamar Stevens. And, for them to be a part of my high school and program was big because they were top 25 players in the country at the time. So I ended up playing with them for AAU team final. It's the Nike UAlbany, like one of the biggest AAU summer circuits
Saw
for
videos.
basketball.
I saw
Yeah.
them on the archives. I
Yeah.
was watching them today.
Oh man, went to the archives. I would love to see those. But yeah, so they were on my team and like they brought in a lot of coaches for high school and everything. But I ended up going the Ivy League route. So I originally had committed to Brown and like I went up there, went up to the school in Rhode Island, beautiful campus,
Yeah.
great location. The school was great too. But something happened with my situation with Brown, and because I had went to a prep school called St. Andrews out there, and one situation happened, and I decommitted, and then after that, I opened my recruitment back up like late, I think, what is it, early March, like right around tournament time, and when teams were getting bounced out the tournament and everything, like my phone started going crazy. Like I had to get out, I had to step out of class at times, like coaches was coming up to visit. So it was a little wild. Like it was like opening Pandora's box again, honestly.
Right.
But then one of my coaches from Bucknell, John Griffin, great guy, great coach. He's actually the head coach for Bucknell right now.
Right.
He called me and was like it was just he's from Philly. Like he just had that Philly swag about him, like his moxie and everything. Like he was just a Philly dude, and we got along together well. And he was like, yeah, like come out for a visit. Like he just want to talk to you, chat with you. And like another thing with recruiting, like he kept it real with me. Like he didn't tell me that I was gonna come in and start and be the guy right away. Like he was like, we're gonna work. Like we just won a championship. Like they was just in the NCAA tournament. And I'm like, yeah, like I just seen you guys, blah, blah. Like, you guys play good basketball. So he was like, yeah, come up for a visit. We'll talk for sure. Get your get your situation done and everything. Try to get you out this recruiting pool because it was between Bucknell and Lehigh. And Lehigh is also a Patriot League school. Really good conference. We actually have some players in the NBA right now from the Patriot League. Shout out, what's his name? Santi Aldama. He's another Patriot League guy. But yeah, so I went up to for my visit, and like they show you all the good stuff, the training facilities where you eat, got a little highlight video for you and all that. And like everything's so nice and shiny. Like, just try to put the finishing touches on everything so you could, commit. But when I went up there, I had like conversations like you just got to be real on what you want and what you think you could do for this program and what you're trying to get out. And like you get in what you put out. And that's how they pitched it to me. They was like, listen, like you put in the work, we're gonna reward you. Like we want to win and we think that you're capable to help us win. And all my life playing basketball, all I want to do is win. Like, yes, the accolades is cool and all the, putting up 50 and getting MVP and all that, but it doesn't matter if you're putting up 50 and like y'all are losing. And with them, it was like any given night, anybody could be the guy, like, but you have to play your role. And that's what I think a lot of players now don't understand. Like if you're going to a high D1 college and you have a specific skill set for that role for that team, your role will be, do what you can do at the highest standard. And
Well,
that
I
was
mean,
all that was
I,
preached about.
I think the Cavs do a great job of that right now because there's like a guy is off. Somebody's off every night,
Yes.
and another guy steps up. And
Yeah.
obviously, you got Donovan, you got some key guys, you got some marquee guys, but they play together in the culture and Bickerstaff and just the way they run things. I mean, we talked about it. It's like off record when we connect, it's like LeBron comes back, how would that look? And
Oh
we all
man.
know LeBron's amazing, but when you look at the culture, you really don't have an alpha dog that is
Yeah.
always like me, me, me.
Mhm.
Obviously, through your recruiting, I met your dad. He's in academics. He's in that profession. He's looking at the long term play. Your
Yeah.
son. So as
Yeah.
parents, we look at the long term play. We look at when I was a football player, all I cared about was playing football. I didn't care about education at all. And then
Hmm.
now being in business, it's like, man, I wish I paid attention. I'd probably be a little
Yeah.
sharper. Skip through things that are important because
Uh,
sports are very short lived. You're an example of it. Did you pass on any high D1s to go to academic based school, or what was your long term play on that? I kind of feel like you probably at 6'9" in your skill set and your
yeah.
numbers, you pass on some big deals, right?
Yeah, I passed on a couple. A lot of Big Ten schools were looking at me. A couple Big East schools were looking at me. I was actually thinking about going to Penn State because three of my teammates from high school went to Penn State, and a couple more that throughout years at Roman, my 4 years. Like a couple other players went to Penn State, and I was thinking about going there a lot because the school was great. It wasn't too far from home, and they were pitching all the right things, saying all the right things. But my mom was real big on that academic piece, and she thought, that piece of paper from Bucknell would look a little bit better than Penn State, even though they're kind of right there. But yeah,
I've
yeah,
had guys go Cornell, Lehigh Brown,
yeah,
Princeton, and they're good players. And I always look, and when I deal with clients and parents and athletes, I'm like, if you can go to Cornell, Princeton, you wrote a ticket for life. Even if you have
yeah,
a 2.1 and you
yeah,
graduate the bottom of your class, you're still in the
right.
prestigious Rolodex. Now it's
Hmm.
obviously digital, but you have connections for life where, you know, again, you have an injury and things shift and you kind of make a decision, an educated one that's obviously working out for you.
Hmm.
Now, looking back, name, image, likeness money. How much
Oh
you
man.
think you would grab some of that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would have definitely made a couple of dollars. I'd have made a pretty penny out of this NIL thing right now.
It's
It's
crazy.
it's so crazy because it like the NIL actually turned college to, okay, who has the best deal for me? Who's going to give me the most money? I'll go there and I'll, play for them. But like now with the transferring rule, like you don't have to sit out. If they don't like that school or if they don't like the deals that they're getting, they can just leave.
It
Yeah.
changed recruiting. It did because
Yes.
now it's all transfer portal. When I'm trying to represent an athlete, it's like if this coach has to win this year, it's going to lose their job. They're definitely not going to take a freshman. They're going to the
Yeah,
portal. They're
for
grabbing,
sure.
4 guys or whatever they need to keep their job. And
Yeah.
it's money ball now. It's sad. I mean, I
Hmm.
get it. They should probably divide it and pay all the players something base. I think that's how you keep it
Yeah.
equitable. But we got guys in football that are offered millions of dollars to go to a school, and these are offensive linemen. You're going, what the,
Yeah.
5-star linemen. Um,
Yeah.
Basketball, it makes more money than football, and a lot of people don't realize that. But that
Mhm.
tournament just bangs out big time money. Always has, always will, and they're offering these guys a lot of money now. It's definitely going to get worse before it gets better. It seems like the NCAA is just checked out on the whole deal.
Yeah, they definitely are. And it's kind of like getting out of hand now because it it's no stopping to how much money you can make at this point. And like all the deals and stuff and brands you can partner with now, the sky's the limit for these kids. And that's why like NIL and recruiting right now is so big. Like it's insane right now.
What's your best advice? I mean, you're close enough still in age to look back, and what's your best advice to a student athlete about the recruiting process and maybe touch point on social media, because that's a big deal, obviously, in the process.
Yeah, so social media is definitely a big deal nowadays because everybody can see everything, especially when you put that out there. But my advice for sure would be like stay grounded, stay with the morals that you have grown up with, like whatever your morals are, stay with that. And because it will change with the money, of course. Like money changes a lot of things, but if you stay grounded, always put your best foot forward, never take shortcuts, always give everything 110%, you should be in a good place because, everybody wants to be great, but it's the small things you got to do to become great. Like always be prepared for whatever's coming, and you can have a big opportunity coming in. If you're not prepared, they'll give it to somebody else. So I would always say, be prepared for whatever, and always be ready for when your number's called. And with this recruiting situation, you know, take everything into account because basketball is not always there. Like, basketball can come and go. Like we're blessed to play this sport. We're blessed to play any sport. We're blessed to do anything that, we were put on this earth to do. And for you to have a Division One scholarship, that's big time. And, you just want to appreciate and fully take control of the situation when you get there because you never know what can happen. So always put your best foot forward and do everything at 110% for sure.
Yeah, even like the D2, D3, you look at some of these guys and it's changed. I mean, some of these D3
Yeah.
players, you look at John Carroll right in our backyard. They're a national voice right now and
Yeah.
competitive. Obviously, the guys are smaller, but there's a lot of international players that we get transferred in that go 2 or 3. I mean, there's some great colleges where you can get a great education if you don't make D1 or it goes late. But I think one of the things I lately have been trying to advise athletes in this process is you're going to be lied to a lot,
For
unfortunately.
sure.
And
Yeah.
it sucks, but you've got to take everything with a grain of salt and kind of go with your gut. I mean, you did the same thing.
Yeah.
You went with your
Yep.
gut, right?
Yep. Yeah. You kind of have to sift through the BS a little bit, but that's why I had my cousin, he's like he's like my big brother, honestly, and he always, helped me out with any decision I made, like let me have a different perspective than the one I have. Because, like sometimes me it's just like, all right, like we're going for gold. Like, all right, we're the best decision. Like sometimes I'll just jump right into it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this to, whatever, like for however long. All right, I'm gonna take this opportunity, blah, blah. And he would be like, listen, dog, like make sure you weigh all your options. You pick the best one because you don't want to regret anything.
Right.
If you go anything with any regret or any resentment, like you're not gonna get as much out of it as you would if you went to somewhere that you felt wanted and want to go. And that's another big thing. Like if you are wanted at this school, go there. It doesn't matter if it's D1, D2, or D3. Like at the end of the day, you can go to the NBA from JUCO. Like Craig Porter, he went to a JUCO for 3 years and then transferred to Wichita State, was a two-way, and now he's a 4-year contract player on the Cavs. Like
Right.
everybody's story is different. Everybody's path is different. It's just, are you willing to take those steps to get to where you want to go? And yeah,
I mean, I always kind of wrap up, these interviews with championship moments and an adversity moment. I kind of
yeah,
probably know the answer to this one, but what is your, obviously you got a long life ahead of you. You're going to deal with some more trials and tribulations, but what right
yeah.
now sticks out is like a moment where you're like, I just can't, how am I going to make it through this? I'm just devastated. Is it the injury or is it something else?
Uh, oh,
You're
I
getting
had a, I
really
had a,
challenged.
yeah,
Really challenged.
I had a couple adversity moments, but my biggest adversity moment was definitely getting hurt. Was definitely getting hurt because we were 3 games out from playoffs and we were fighting for seeding and we were number 2 at the time and I got hurt. And I'm not saying it's all because of me, but I got hurt and we went down to like 5 or 6 and now we're in the play-in. Like we don't have that second that second we don't have that second, like, second spot in the conference, and we just figure out like how to really go forward with this. And we ended up being like 6, had to play in the first round, and we got bounced out. So that was tough for me because I've never lost in the first round.
Right.
And when I got hurt, it just put everything into perspective. Like, okay, maybe I can't go as far as I want to. And I was thinking like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to talk to? Like, it was just really upsetting at the time, and definitely couldn't figure out at that time like what I was going to do next. But then like a couple months later, through all the rehab and all the hard work that I put in, it didn't go unnoticed. Like, and that's another thing. Like, who you are as a person, always try to make first impression a good one. Because you never know who you'll run into. And luckily, my head coach, had other plans for me, even though, my one dream and one goal was to play basketball, but it was a minor setback. No, this
That's
is,
some great advice, man. I've always carried the
yeah.
torch of you don't know who you're going to run into. I'm a cigar guy. That's what I like in
Mhm.
cigars across the country. You run into some interesting people, but if you judge the book by its cover,
Yeah,
I've met some men that are billionaires, successful, and they look like they're dressed like they're homeless.
yeah.
And you just have to treat people with respect and
Yep.
how you want to be treated because you don't know what they've been through, what adversity. And some people can't get through it. What about your championship moment? What's your moment you still go back and you're like, man, this is, you lay down at night, you go, this is one of the best times of my life.
Oh, it was definitely my freshman year at Bucknell. We won the Patriot League championship, and just like going in as a freshman, and winning it first year, you're feeling like the big shot on campus. Like everybody knows you are. Like you're going to the NCAA tournament, it happened back to back. So I would say that is definitely my championship moment. And then playing against Michigan State in the tournament was a big deal too. Playing against Miles Bridges and Jaren Jackson, and we came pretty close. We lost by 6, but I would say if our best player didn't go down, that NCAA tournament might have got shaken up, and a lot of brackets would have been busted that first round.
Yeah, yeah, and you played against one of the craziest coaches in this
Oh
was crazy. He's
yeah,
intense. I mean, I met him, had a couple guys go play, and he's just absolutely wild, intense.
yeah. Tom is a
Yeah,
legend.
he's up there with Nike and kind of the craziness. But Coach Newman, I appreciate it. I know you're on break, you're at home, you had someone in the background getting ready to pull you away. I saw that.
Yeah.
It's all right, man. It's Sunday. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Let me know when Dad's back in town, and we're all supposed to grab dinner. I talked to your dad here and there. He shoots
for
me text
sure.
messages, and keep it going, man. I appreciate the time, the advice, and um, just stay healthy, stay grounded like you are, man. You're an outstanding young man, and I'm looking forward to watch how things develop for you. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me on here. It was great to, Sunday morning, get to talk to one of my good fellows. So it was great.
See you soon, man. We'll catch up. I'll shoot you a text, when you're
Yeah.
free, and I know you're busy, and I think the Cavs are going to go far this year. It's a great,
Yeah.
great team you got, and good luck, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate that.
All right, thanks,
Yeah.
man. Bye.
College sports is a big business, a multi-billion-dollar business. So how do high school athletes get noticed by college coaches? At Athletic Scholarship Corporation, we provide nationwide recruiting services and get scholarship offers for our clients.